Good afternoon, everybody. So I told you I was going to come on and do a pop-up live Q&A, and here I am. But instead of my normal coffee, I told you guys to grab coffee or wine, water, whatever. But sometimes it's fun to put like sparkling water in your wine glass, right? And then drink it that way. So no matter what you're drinking, have a little bit of fun with it and be creative, just like what we do in the nail industry. And so, did you guys see that I was live with Layla earlier? And we talked so many different topics today. We talked from competitions to starting your own business, to just being inspired and reaching out to your mentors and helping yourself get to the next level. And it's a mindset of what you got to do to get to the next level, setting goals and saying, I'm going to do this, and putting on a template that Karen doesn't know yet because she was sleeping, but we're going to ask her to make a template for us and share it in our group. Hi, Teresa. And so I'm just here to answer any questions that you may have. I have a couple topics that I was going to kind of touch base on. One of them is about social media advertising, that depending what you're trying to do to get to your next level of building up clientele, or are you trying to get next level and get recognized in social media and competitions and all that kind of stuff. So I have some pointers that we can share with that. So if you have questions along the way, just ask and we'll just hit all kinds of different topics. That's one of the things that I like about these pop-up lives, is that I never know what I'm going to talk about, but it's always so much fun. So with that being said, when it comes to social media advertising, we all know that Facebook algorithms are making it harder and harder and harder. Really what they're pushing for is they want you to pay for posts to hit a certain market. And it doesn't cost a lot to pay for those, but you don't always know that you're hitting the right market because it hits people off your friends list. For instance, for me, hi Sue. For me, I have the 5,000 limit of friends, but they're almost all nail techs. So if I'm going to try to post a picture to be published and I'm going to hit friends of my friends, it's only going to hit nail techs. So if I'm trying to sell candle wax, I'm not going to hit the right market that I need to. Does that make sense? So like if you're trying to hit social media in your group and you pay for those ads, it's going to go to the friends of their friends. And it might not be your local people that you're trying to reach to come in for nail appointments. You're trying to pay for the ads to get to the next level in social media of being with other nail techs. You're going to hit friends of friends. So if you don't have a lot of friends that are nail techs, it's not going to get to the right people. So you really have to be creative on your social media marketing. So one of the tips that I can share with you is, instead of paying for posts, get friends. Friend request the people that you're trying to sell to. So if you're trying to sell to people to come into your salon, then friend request people that live in your area. Get your following going so that when you advertise, and you have to advertise multiple times a day, so schedule your posts multiple times a day. Karen Squidward, one of our admin, actually did a live not too long ago on how to schedule a post and what your post should say, and a color theme to brand yourself and what it should look like. So you can look for that if you want more details on what to post. But you have to schedule your posts to be where in your area, or the people that you're trying to market to, it will show up in their news feed. So for instance, for me in my time frame, most of the people that I notice is most active with mine is that 8 to 10 in the morning, and then like 8 to 10 at night. So if I'm posting every day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, by the time those people get to see it, it's so far down on the newsfeed you don't see it at all. And then Facebook algorithms have changed it to where you're only going to see posts that are similar to what you like. So if you like posts all the time on, hand lotion, then you're only going to see posts about hand lotion. You're not going to see the posts about crocheting anymore. I mean, it's changed so much. They're trying to benefit you, but those of us trying to advertise, that's not benefiting us so well. So there's that part. Then if you're trying to not so much get the clientele, the social media for that, and you're trying to get the social media for the side of being recognized by like Nails Magazine and stuff like that, you need to use your hashtags. And all of them have so many different ones. Sometimes Nails Magazine might be hashtag nails, hashtag nails mag, hashtag nails magazine, hashtag, you know, like, and so find what the current hashtags are, which they show all over on their social media site, on their websites. I'll tell you what hashtags to use to enter in certain competitions and stuff. So use the hashtags and then post on your Instagram and post on your Facebook. And if you have a Pinterest, do that. But another area in the social media to post your pictures on is Nail Art Gallery. And I talk about Nail Art Gallery all the time because it has helped me get to the next level in my career. And in the beginning, when I was trying to network with other techs, it was my beginning networking before I figured out the detailed things of like Facebook groups. And one of the things that can happen when you're marketing in the right areas, you get recognized. For instance, Scratch Buzz Nail Art World, if you post your pictures of your nails on there, every week they pick pictures, their top, I think it's 7 because I think they do one for each day. Then you get put in another monthly competition, and then you're into the annual competition, and all you did was post pictures of your nail art on their page. So you have to like smart posting. But on Nail Art Gallery, one of the cool things is that if they like the picture that you post on there, then they publish it on Pinterest for you and in Nails Magazine for you because it's networked all together. And then if you get published onto the online magazine for Nail Art Gallery or online for Nails Magazine, then you get the chance to get one of these. And so you get published with your art. This is the cover of that magazine. They send you, it's a nice plaque. Some of these you have to pay for, but you know what? It's worth it to prove that our worth so that we can make more money in the salon as well. So anyways, there's some tips for you guys on getting, you know, my workshop that I tie into that's called Get Branded, Get Used. And I say that of getting used, like we want to get used. You know, getting used always has like, I don't want to get used, but we want to get used. We want our clients to use us. We want social media to use us. And to be able to do that, we have to put ourselves out there so that people can even see what we have to offer. And so it's important to put yourself out there just that little bit more and then say yes when the opportunity comes to you. I recently, John Hauk messaged me just this last week, and he said he had an idea to run by me, wanted to know if I was available to chat, and he needed to do it ASAP. And I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do? Or what would he want with me? You know, like sometimes we don't realize, hi Haley, hi Kim. So sometimes we don't realize who's watching, you know? And so anyways, he has invited me to go on the cruise in November and be one of the nail stars and educate and do exactly what I'm doing here, like a pop-up live, and just share knowledge and network with people on a more intimate level, face-to-face on a cruise. How fun is that? So the details are coming out on that soon. So I'm super, super, super excited about that. But you know what? If I didn't say yes, or my insecurities kind of held me back, then I would be missing out on a great opportunity, right? And if I didn't put myself out there on social media, do you think he would even know who I am? Even though we competed next to each other like way back in like 2003, 2004, it doesn't matter. Sometimes we, to get people to know us and trust us, we have to put ourselves out there constantly on social media, right? You have to be kind of just out there, whether it's through artwork or doing lives, whatever it is, you have to stay in somebody's mind. And like I said, you never know who's watching and what kind of opportunities they might have for you. So you got to put yourself out there, and then you got to learn to just say, yes, thank you, just that alone. Yeah, it's so fantastic. I'm so excited about all the opportunities. And Haley, you and I are working on something as well with products and stuff. So I'm super excited for all these things. But once again, you got to put yourself out there. Yeah, Teresa, that's so wonderful. Oh, and Mickey's on here. Mickey won today's Tech Talk Worldwide 365, and you got your certificate and all of that. So I think you told me it was like really late there, and I thought you were going to bed, but here you are. All right, guys, ask questions. I'm here just for a live Q&A. Hopefully you went and grabbed a glass of wine if it's in your evening, or a glass of coffee if it's in your morning, or hey, have wine in the morning if you want, but ask questions and kind of use me. I'm here to get used. Hi, Carmel. So, what have you guys been up to today? How's your weather? How's life? Yeah, Haley, I still get nervous before I go live. And I'm nervous, is the internet going to work? Is my phone charged up? you know, is it daylight outside? Because I've learned when I go live, when it's nighttime outside and I don't get the extra lighting, you can hardly see me. And so there's things along the way that we learn to build up our confidence in going live. And sometimes I know a lot of techs that won't put their face live, but they'll put their hands live, and they'll do nail art tutorials and all that kind of stuff, but they just can't seem to, you know, face the camera like this. And so find what works for you, you know, and sometimes it's just with pictures. You don't have to go live to get out there. I can't help it. I love the lives. Yeah. Mickey says, I'm so rubbish at promoting myself. Everyone else, no problem. So what do you, here in our minds, we know what's holding us back, right? There's multiple times that we'll be like, oh, you know, my teeth aren't white enough, right? Or something. And if that's the case and that's what's holding you back, go get your teeth whitened. Like, seriously, what is the one thing that is holding you back? Because we can't just say, oh, I'm insecure. There's something that's making you insecure. And then, like I said, if you think that it's, you know, the face-to-face interaction, then don't put your face on it. Put a mask on and put one of those, I don't know, things that you can do on the videos that gives you a little bit of a halo, or bunny ears, or the funny face with the funny voice. Like, find a way to put yourself out there and be unique. And it's amazing the feedback that you'll get back. What I didn't realize is how many people I connect with. We think alike, or they have the same glasses as I do, or they're like, oh my God, I have that necklace that you have. And just those little connections that you can make with people just make you feel like you're in the room there with each other, and then it starts taking away those insecurities. Teresa says, okay, I actually have a little question tonight. I seen a post earlier about D&D. Do you need primer under it? Nope, no. So D&D, just like any other gel polish, you don't need a primer. However, with that being said, Young Nails does have a protein bond that's considered a primer, and it's made to go universal with any product, but it's actually made to go with like their conversion base and some of their products. So watch out when you're mixing the products like that to make sure that that they're not going to create a chemical reaction. But as for D&D itself, you do not need a primer underneath it at all. You need a very clean nail plate. You need to use like a 180 buffer, or the files usually are now 180 on there. You don't have to like really etch the nail, but you need to remove the shine and definitely remove all the oil. I've done so many tutorials on prep on how to get the nail clean. And then when you put the D&D is actually made where you don't even need the base, but base can stain on the natural nail, especially if you're using reds, purples, greens, and stuff like that. I use a base on everybody just because it gives me a smoother finish. And then actually I'll use 2 base coats and then the color. And the reason why is that when they come back in on, you know, you either need to soak them off in acetone or you can e-file it off. If I do 2 base coats, I can e-file it off and never touch their natural nail again, not creating any more damage. And so I like to do it that way. But to answer your question, no primer at all with D&D, just your pH bond to clean the nail. That is for regular gel polish on natural nail. Okay, so yeah, the gel polish, right? Because if it's fingernail polish, you'll just remove it with acetone very easily. Sue says she would scare us all. Nuh-uh. Haley says, I would love to do more nail art tutorial lives, but I'm worried I'll mess up. Haley. You know what? Do you know how many times I've messed up live or spilt while I was going live? And do you know how many more people are like, oh my God, you're a real person. I just did that today. Or what is the really fun part about messing up while you're live is that you're troubleshooting your way. Like if you were with a client and you live with your client and you're doing the artwork and it messes up, the hand didn't stay in the light the whole time. They pull it out. You realize it's not cured. You wiped it off with your alcohol to take off the inhibitor layer and it's totally messed up. When you're live, it's the same way. You got to troubleshoot your way through and show people how to fix it. Because guess what? How many times does that all happen to us that their thumb wasn't in the light the right way, or their little finger, or you didn't realize that, like my light, their hand has to stay on the bottom. I don't realize that they've moved a couple fingers up and the light's gone off. And then I'm working on that. I'm like, this doesn't look right. You have to learn to troubleshoot. Being live and having a mistake and troubleshooting actually will make you more connected with the people that are watching you. So don't let that hold you back. So bring another one at me. I'm going to prove to you why you should be going live. Yeah, Mickey, you're so welcome. You're old. Kim says, just took this working nail artist class. Yay! Uber excited. Want to take Selena Ryan's class. with like, yes. And Layla and I went live earlier today and we were talking about, taking workshops and taking classes and getting educated, and that excitement, that uber excitement that you just, shared with us. It renews us, doesn't it? It makes us feel like, oh, I got this. And we might even know how to do it. Like Kim just took another class about nail art, and we all know that she's excellent at nail art. But she says, you know what? There's just one little light bulb thing that goes on. It's like, and it just spheres you and renews you into a different way. And so taking that education is so important. Mickey says, plus my parents always said it was a wrong, pat yourself on the back. Yes, it's not wrong to do that at all. I'm not one that, like, actually, if a lot of people give me compliments all the time, I start getting insecure, because then I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, you kind of get within yourself. And another thing about compliments is somebody says, oh, you look nice today, but they've never complimented you another day. Our minds play trick on us, and they're like, oh, well, did I not look nice the other day when I actually dressed up? They think that what looks nice? What made them notice me today? Because I want to repeat that again. We overthink things so many times. And so I'm one that if I get a lot of compliments, I've learned to just go like, okay, thank you. It actually makes me insecure to get compliments. Isn't that weird? And so I'm better at just saying, okay, I did that. That was a goal I wanted to do. I did that. I can improve with this. Next time that I do that, pat myself on the back. I'm better with myself than I am from other people for some reason. Yes. So Kim, that's one of the things that I want to talk about. You were saying it's hard though to come up with all the money for classes. And you're right. It used to always be that we had to travel. We had to either pay for the gas, the airfare, the motel stay, our food, our family to come with us, plus the show. Sometimes we got product out of it. Sometimes we didn't. And that is one of the things I hear with Tech Talk Worldwide that we're trying to skip over. So, with us doing the online workshops, it's at your convenience, so you don't have to take time off of work to come do it. It's out of your home. Doesn't cost anything for us to do them through Facebook, so it's an easy access. You're already on Facebook, and if you look, most of our classes are from $25 to usually around $50, and we're making it easy. But what you're learning in the workshop, you can use in the salon, and we always give you cost-saving tips too, and you're going to make your money back with what you're learning. So you're not just learning the same old. Our workshops are geared on so many different topics that are easy for you to say, I just want to learn nail art. Then you just do the nail art one, and that helps keep your costs low. And so I agree with you. Sometimes they can be so expensive. And you're right, for years I wasn't able to do it either, but with social media like this, we're able to go on and create these workshops for you for not that much money. And then obviously we give you a lot of free. So we do like these pop art things, like the education you get today, and we do nail art tutorials, and we do all these different things to help you get to the next level. So it doesn't always have to cost. And then D&D, I love D&D too. Teresa says, I've been researching a little bit about that. 2 base coats and filing off the color afterwards. I'm going to do that now. You're welcome for that advice. And I can tell you, when the client comes back in, these 2 bits are really good for removing gel polish. And they're both from the Max Xstrata E-Nail Couture. Diamond Moon. This is for your cuticle work. And I'll forgive, my nails are almost 5 weeks grown out. So this one goes around, preps the natural nail and the cuticle all in one, and that's all you need. This is similar to a buffer. And then this is the Pink Magic. It's a safety bit, and you can go in and remove all of the color, debulk it down to that clear coat, and then take your hand file, shape it, get it going, apply your gel polish again. I actually have a gel polish workshop that starts tomorrow. You can still sign up for it, and it goes into every single detailed step about troubleshooting gel polish from beginning to end, how to redo it when they come back in using your e-file, and then I think there's like 9 nail art videos on there of detail of how to achieve these fun ones and how to charge for them and all of that. And so once again, we were talking about workshops, Kim. It's like $45. It's up for a month. You can download and save all the videos and keep them forever. And so there's lots of fun things that we can do with that. And then, yeah, but Teresa, like what we were just saying, 2 base coats allows you to use your e-file for removing. And then there's no nail damage at all. It's amazing. It's a game changer. Hey, Rose. Rose, we're just doing a pop-up live Q&A, just answering any questions and goofing off. So, hi, Katie. Sue says your online workshops have been amazing. So much knowledge. And for a disabled tech, oh my gosh, I cannot travel. It's a lifesaver. That is wonderful. Another, we don't always think about who we're reaching, but you're right, for people who can't travel or they have all kinds of kids at home and they can't afford to leave all of their kids, this is another way of you getting to that next level of education and feeling a part of a big network like what we have. Carmel says, Amy had a problem in school yesterday and the top of my gel extension was pointing down. Do you think it was not putting on enough product or over filing? Okay, Carmel, I need more information. One, do you have a picture of it? So private message me the picture if you do, so then I can visually see it. But just kind of verbally going through this, the top of my gel extension was pointing down. Was it on a tip? And maybe the tip was glued on at a different angle. And then you'll notice that because you'll have to do a lot of filing on that well because it's not connected down. Was it sculpting? Was your form not on correctly? So I need more information on that. And you said it was gel extension, so I'm assuming a hard gel that you were using it with that as well? Goofing off. Yes. So Rose, you do education and you do some online, and then you actually have your academy. So, once again, there's so many people in here that have this education that want to help, and whether it's done through pop-up lives like this or actual workshops, we're here for you. Rose, how is everything going with all of your classes and stuff? Yay! So I finally caught up on the comments. Let's see. So our theme today was getting yourself used, and we never wanted to be used before, but boy, when you're in a business, don't you want to get used? You want people to use you for retail. You want them to use you for, get nails done and all of that. So the main thing is, though, is that you have to kind of get over that insecurity of yourself. It's a mental thing that sometimes that we have. We have to get past that so that we can get used. Carmel, oh no, I filed it off. Okay, Carmel. I'm going to go back up to your question again because you filed it off so you can't send me a picture, or while you were filing, you actually filed it to slope down at the extension. Was it? Teresa says, I have the Diamond Moon bit and I really love it for cuticle work. I also have the Safety Barrel bit, but I think it is and have ordered another one from Max's Bits too. I think I will look to see. Oh, sorry, it made me expand it out. Oh, you're going to look in to see the quarter shape. Sounds brilliant. I find it so different in Ireland to get gels and stuff because everything is so expensive, and then still a rate. Yes. I love the availability of products in America. And we do have so many available here that just don't seem to be available everywhere else. The funny thing is through the networking, most of the products that I want to get are in America. I have to order them from like UK or Australia. And so I guess the struggle's real everywhere you are about what products we want to work with and what's available in our area. And you're right, shipping is, they're so expensive. I was talking about that not too long ago. I shipped candy to one of the admin friends that I have on Nail Nations, and I think it was like $25 worth of candy, but it cost me $32 in shipping and handling, but it was still so worth it. She was so excited to get it, and the stuff that we had here was different than what she had. So maybe we need to come up with an international nail share, to where us nail techs, we have maybe a product that we can put part of it in a baggie or something. I don't know if that goes against, company rules that they might have or whatever. And we can share it just a little bit just so that we can play, and then keep them in smaller packaging to keep the cost a little bit lower, Rose says, list my momentum, but I'm creating new stuff to release soon. Yay! I love new stuff. Okay, Carmel, so you used hard gel. You have no photo for me. And I think you said it was on a tip. So is it a possibility that the tip was actually applied at an angle? And you would know because, hold on, let me grab a tip here. Let's see here. Okay, so we have a tip. So this one, was your tip a well like this, where it's just a tip well, or is it more of a full coverage well? Because that would make a difference too. Was the, I dropped it. Was the shaping of the tip very curved, or was it more of a natural shaping? So when you go to apply a tip on a nail, and you remember when you're applying tips, you're going to remove their free edge, right? Because that's the reason why you're applying tips, and so you're going to make all of them the same. And then you shape their free edge to fit into this curved well right here. So it's a little bit of an oval shaping. So that way they'll all be the same as they grow on the back side. They'll look good. And then the better fit that you have of their nail into that, like I have a squared off nail, and so squared off into this, it's not going to fit right in there. I'm not going to get a good adhesion of my tip, and a lot of the tips will pop off because there'll be air pockets in it. So shape your free edge to fit into the well, and then look at it from this view. Sometimes when the techs are holding it and the client's, let me get situated, and the client's hand is like this to you, right? And so their fingers are usually a little bit down to you. When we apply the tip, we hold it up. Do you see that angle right there? So if I try to go straight on, see how that tip flares up? Then sometimes the clients are watching you and their hands are more like this, and we go to put on the tip, and our tip is angled down. So we need to make sure that our fingers are straight on and level to us. Pay attention when you're putting on your tips, and make sure that when you put the tip, you meet it to the well, the nail to the well, like the little rim that's inside there. You meet that, rock it up until it fits perfectly. So there's a lot of things with tips. It could be that it went down because maybe the shaping of the tip was extra curved. You know, there's so many troubleshooting things with tips. And sometimes they're too big for the nail. That will make it have a different arch too, from nail to nail. And sometimes, you know how you have like, and I'm a little OCD like this, we have clients where this tip size will be bigger than this tip size. So therefore, the client will always hold them next to each other. Well, it's a bigger fit nail bed than this hand. Like usually one hand sometimes is a whole size different than the other. And they're gonna look different from hand to hand. The arch is gonna look different from the side. Their C-curve is gonna look different because a smaller tip's gonna have more of a C-curve because it's tightening on the nail than a wide one with a bigger tip. There's so many factors in there that can make it slip down. So Carmel, the best thing I can say to troubleshoot that is get pictures. Always take pictures, because then you can share it with us. If the client still has that nail on, see if they'd be willing to send a picture to us, and then we can help you troubleshoot that. All right, so let's catch up more on these questions. I have a tough market. Oh no, Rose, it is always tough. You have to find a way to be unique, to set yourself aside from everybody else, especially when it ties into high-paid kind of classes and workshops like that. Sue says that is brilliant. I would love to share with other countries. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of like, we should come up with a name for it rather than just nail share, but maybe even with Tech Talk Worldwide, we can come up with something like that we can do like a product exchange, but we're going to have to make sure that it's okay with the companies, because we're not going to be buying it from each other's. But I think if we, you know, for instance, if I took some of my C&D powder and I poured it into a baggie and mailed it to you to try it, does that go against, you know, the law somehow? Because there's always these little laws. Just like I can't have music on because I don't own the rights to the music, you know, things like that. Rose says, I'm in a great place though. Yay! Close to New Mexico, Arizona, California, Colorado, West Texas, but El Paso is just catching up. Oh, that's awesome. Hi, China. Sorry, I lost my momentum, but super busy with clients, but now it's a good time to promote education. Rose, you know what? Sometimes we do lose our momentum when we're the one in charge, because we're so exhausted of spreading ourselves thin, trying to please everybody, sometimes we have to mark out that day. Like today's my day to mark out, just to put myself for social media. I get caught up on messaging that I need to do the whole week. I just mailed out all kinds of more certificates for my workshops. And you're right, I have to mark out the day so I can stay focused on that, because I can wear myself thin and then I lose my momentum. And so you're right, sometimes you're going to have to take charge of your schedule. I like that Teresa when things are with, yeah. It's mad, isn't it, for shipping costs? I actually ordered 3 Happy Gels for a new bit for Max, and then 10 duo colors and top and base from D&D. Oh my gosh, you had so many. You have all kinds of fun products. She's coming here at the end of the month. Oh, enjoy your visit with your sister. Carmel, there's no well in it. Yeah. It still kind of makes me think if the tip was, applied. If there's no well, you don't really have a guideline, but you should still follow the nail. So it kind of makes me wonder if your tip wasn't off just a little bit. And I was doing it on myself. Okay. All right. Rose says, be welcome to any ideas. I think it comes down to cost. Cost is big. Aren't we all money savers and stuff like that? So Rose, here's something on cost that I always keep in the back of my mind. People will come in for their nail appointment, and my prices are low. Like I was sick. You guys know that I was sick for like 3 weeks, and so some of my clients had to go to just a walk-in salon. And this week I've been good, and so I've been able to get them back in. And I'm like, just out of curiosity, what did you pay for your fill? And they're like $45, and I'm like, what? I charge $35, $38, $40 with art, and they had no nail art. And so once again, when it comes to cost, people are willing to pay for convenience of whatever can work for them right now. Think about coffee shops. How many times do we spend $5 on a cup of coffee, but we won't spend $5 on something else that can actually make us money? It's a matter of thinking. So when it comes to cost, you have to make it a need, and you have to personalize it to make it to where it's going to fit with your market that you're going with. Hi, Julia. Oh, you got 12 bottles of D&D today? So I still haven't, I haven't need, as you can see, I have so much gel polish on this side too, that I have not placed an order, and D&D's changed their packaging, and then they have D&D DC, and I can't find out what the difference is. Is it just, new packaging? So they went with that. And so I'm curious of how all the new stuff works and how it looks on the shelf and stuff. Rose, you're welcome. I remember, yes, exactly, Rose. Yep, different size tips, different size nails. And that's why sometimes we even have to go with sculpting. But sculpting's the same way. If your form is set up too high or too low, or you don't have it pinched right or whatever, you're going to have a different look too. And so, once again, it always takes dang practice. Practice, practice, practice. All right. Another thing with tips, I don't use a lot of tips anymore. In fact, the only reason why that I really use tips is to do tutorials. But with the different size kinds of tips, like I mentioned earlier, like this one has a well. This is Tammy Taylor. See how matte finish there? These are pre-etched, so I don't have to file this. All I do is shape it, and then I put the product right on, so there's no tip blending and stuff like that. And of course, there's clear, there's natural, there's frosted, there's colored, there's white, there's everything. And then in this one, you have the well, so you have a little line that it butts up to the nail. Some of them don't have wells. And then likewise, this is one that is made to go on the tip. Gotta remember, glue breaks down in water, right? Glue breaks down in alcohol, all of that. So sometimes if you're doing a set and your client's always losing the tip, then maybe they would be better with Sculpt. Or if you're using a tip that has a fuller well and the well comes this far down on the nail, well then that much of the nail is covered with glue and a tip, and your product that is stronger than glue is only on this much of the nail. So sometimes you need to play around with the tips. That's why I like the ones that have a smaller well like this, because then I get more product on the nail. My product's harder than the glue, and it's going to last longer than that. So play around with tips that work best with what products you're using as well. Rose says you can also cut a V for wide nails. Yeah. So, however, Rose, many times we used to do that a long time ago, and actually C&D used to have one. I don't remember the name of it, but it actually had the well cut out. So if you had a very flat, wide nail, then you could put the tip on and the pressure was released right here. So this is where she's talking. You can cut a V right here, and then that will allow this to have more flexibility and go wider like that without making their nail too curved. However, you tend to get a split up the nail, right up the center. And I always found it when I was working on clients that wanted a shorter nail. So they'd want a nail length, you know, probably a little bit longer than mine. We'd use a tip to put on there. I'd cut the V in it, put on the well, and then they cut the tip to there. That's all the extension that they want. And it would create a crack right up the middle. And so it's better if you have people that are constantly doing new sets on wide nails. It's better to buy the tips that are formulated and made with the V there, because sometimes us cutting it in there compromises the tip and the strength. Yes, I do. I love Tammy Taylor tips, and they're a lot thicker than some of the others, and then you don't have to blend it, so therefore the strength is impeccable. And you're right, they do. They feel like velvet. Oh, hey, Carmel, we just answered the question about the V, so I hope I answered that question for you. Yes. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, Rose, we'll try that instead. Nice. Another thing that you guys can do with your tips, say you have let me find, in fact, I'll use that, and I have a white tip here. Okay. So let's say you have a Fuller Well tip, right? This is the Tammy Taylor. This is a pre-etched whitest white is what they call it. So let's say the nail tip comes all the way down and you just can't get it to fit right on their nail. I don't know if you have ever done this, but you can personalize these tips to fit them, and you can turn a full well tip into a free edge tip like this by filing it. This isn't the perfect setup for this, but I think you'll understand what I mean. Okay, so here's your hand file. So I'm going to pretend that this end is my tip end, and if it's a Fuller Well one, obviously you're not just going to be at the tip like this would be. You're going to be on majority of the nail. But say you want to turn that into a regular tip. So pretend this is the tip end, not the free edge end. Take your file, the rough side of your file, and angle it like this, and watch this. Let's see if I can do this. You're going to angle it, and you can create like even an extreme smile line doing this. So if you have white tips and you want to create an extreme smile line, this is how you would do it. So you keep just filing it at the same angle, which I'm a way crooked, but okay, so the end of that just broke off. Okay, so now I no longer have a full well tip. I have a tip well tip. Does that make sense? So now that it's crooked, so forgive that. So now instead of being a full well, it would be a tip well. Then I'm going to turn this back around. Let's say your smile line is like this, and it's almost a little bit more straight across. So it's more of what the natural smile line is, but say they want an extreme one and you want to use tips, do the exact same thing. So I'm going to hold this down and do it right so that it's even. But you're going to take your file and you're going to go in one direction, and you're going to just go down the center, and then you're going to be able to turn that into an extreme smile line. It's fun to do this. Okay, so watch this. Okay, so I filed that off. This is the area I filed out. See how that turned out into an extreme smile line? So now when I put it on, it's more like that. And I can make those edges sharper. The more I file it, I can make it sharper and turn it into an extreme. So there's ways you can work with your tips. Another thing is sometimes these tips are just too wide on the nails. The well of them go too far down on the sides, so that when we put this on a client, let's say the well just goes way down in there, then take your file and bring the side of the well up. See, tips have a natural curve, right? But that curve might be too deep for their nail bed. Pull that up and make that level. See how I made that a little bit straighter? I'll show you from one side to the other and you'll see what I mean. So I did not compromise the tip. Dropping things and hitting things. Okay, so here's the curve of this side, right? Here's this side. It's kind of hard to see there. I made this side straighter. So then when it goes into the sidewall, it's going to fill a bit better. It's not going to go down like that. So sometimes you have to pull the sides up. If you do that, you might not be able to use white tips because you're going to see that. You might have to do natural and then do your white with gel polish. There's so many things with tips, you know, it's like you can talk all day about one topic. So when people are always like, how do I do this? You know that me, I'm always feeding for more information. I want to see pictures. I want to, I need more details sometimes of what you're doing because not every product would have the same troubleshooting for it. Anyways, those are always fun to do. And practice. Didn't I just say I hated that word? But it is, it's the truth of it. All right, let's go back up here. Oh my gosh, I'm missing all kinds of comments. Okay, thanks for showing her. You're welcome. You can still find them in some discount sites. And you know, some of these product companies are reaching out to us and giving us promo codes. And so Sammy Carter, who's one of the admin on our group, in the I think it's called lists section at the top of our page. She has all the list of all the promo codes from all these companies to give us additional savings. And I know I just got 3 of them a couple weeks ago. I got eNail Couture, Beyond Polish, and Nail Tech Supply all sent me promo codes to reach out to you guys. I don't get anything from this. I get the discount too. So know that when us admin are promoting these companies, we're not getting the kickback. I think Layla is an educator with Miss You and Becky's an educator with Sojel, and they do make some commissions off of that. But isn't it great that you're supporting somebody that's giving you extra education? The rest of this, honestly, I don't get any kickbacks from these companies. So just know that this is just something heartfelt for you guys. Rose, it's been a long time since I did a tip, and I just did it last week. Felt strange. You know what, and you know, people say, do you tip or do you sculpt? I honestly gear it towards the client's needs, what they're coming in with, what can be kind of fastest, most durable, whatever at the time. So I still will use tips on occasion, but most of the time I sculpt them or just do an overlay because most of my clients don't go very, you know, long in length. You can do it by the angling your tip cutter too. Yes, so what Mickey's meaning is on the same tip that I keep destroying, is with your tip cutter, if you want square, you would line it up evenly like this, straight up and down, clip it, you have square. If you want rounded, you're going to angle your tip cutter out a little ways and clip that, and it gives you a little bit more of a rounded, like that would be a squoval. I actually still have clients that do an inverted square, so it's very sharp corner square. So when I hold the tip cutter to them, I'm actually holding this angle, and when you cut, it gives you, it's crooked, but it gives you sharp corners and straight up and down. So know that which way you angle your tip cutters, you can create a different shape with that too. Oh, Becky says she's driving home. Did you guys see that Kim drove over to surprise Becky and be a part of the Education Week? She drove, I don't know, like an hour or something to be there, like an hour and drive back home. And she went live along the way. It was so much fun. Becky, I wish I was one of them that could go and surprise you like that. However, I live too far away, but I get to meet you in September. I'm excited. Haley, good night. Hi, Sheena. That's a great idea. I learned something new. Hey, Rose, good. I hope maybe, you know, like we said, sometimes, even though we've been in the industry for a long time, there might be just one thing that just renews us and re-energizes us. So hopefully it was something like that. Teresa's going to sleep 12:40 in the a.m. Watch it tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Trump that. Amy, you need to come to my school and teach us. Ah, oh, Carmel, I wish I could. And you know what? Actually, with my license, they won't let me teach in schools. They say that you already have, online I can teach you, but actually if I went to the school, they won't let me teach in the school because I'm an instructor. So I can be an educator, I can be an ambassador, I can be my independent consultant, but they won't let me teach in schools. And I just think that's so odd. I can't even go teach nail art in schools unless I'm an educator for a company, and then I can represent that company and teach, but as an independent consultant, they won't let me. I don't get it. I was asking about the new thickness about Shiny. I used to love it. About Shiny. I'm not sure what that is. I love the line too, but oh, Ashley, good. I hope I hope that you guys learned a lot from my little tip demo, huh? Oh, Melissa said, is it possible to do a short stiletto or coffin in straight line? Yeah. So Melissa, to do a short stiletto or a coffin, you're going to need to sculpt it. Because if you take a tip, let me grab another one. If you take a tip, and I like to draw on my tips because I want them the same, and I need to visually see and make sure the client visually see that if I go through all the work to do the shaping, that this is what they want. So if I was doing tips, and you know, we had prom last week, and so I went live in some of my groups showing this stuff. I actually take a pen or pencil and I will draw the look for them, right? Okay. Let me find something that will go darker than that. Let's use this one. Okay. So let's say they want it, this is going to be more of an almond shape, but they want to do this shape, okay? Look what the sidewall is going to be like if I used a tip. And that, we're not going to leave that sharp. We're going to take that and go all the way in. So from their nail where this goes on, that is only going to go up, and there's no strength in that. As soon as they hit it, the tip's going to go up and it's going to come off. And the same thing with the coffin. It's going to come out, you know, on the side, and then it's going to start going over. Tips, unless they are the deep C-curve tips that you can file the sides up, tips are not your solution for that. You're going to need to sculpt it, and then when you put your form on, you can bring the product down on the sides and bring your shaping in. You know, I hate to say this because I actually just showed how to do that, but I showed it in a workshop because it's one of those advanced techniques that you need time to have people understand how to work with that. And so it's not something I get to share publicly because it wasn't a paid for workshop, but just know that when you're putting your form on to do a stiletto kind of look, it really is important to use this on the back side and make it fit into the person's nail. This will give you extra strength to where your form will not move. So it's kind of like this. So let's see if I can do this on myself. So take your form, put it up under their free edge, pull it. Let's see if I can hold this together. I always pull up to the center here. Like, get your fingers off the form. Sometimes we're doing all this and then we can't get it. So put it up under the free edge, hold it straight down to where the numbers are centered. I will hold right here, push up in the center and down on the sides. Okay, that's going to make it even if I was doing this evenly every time. Okay, so I'm pushing down, down, down. See how it naturally is going to be in my apex, look at my higher point here. It's naturally going to curve. What you want to see when you are forming is that there is a straight line down the nail, down the side. So then you can see that even if I was doing that straight line, okay, see the point? This is so hard to do with myself. Okay, see that curve? See the point right there? So let's say I'm going to go that long, right? See how I can still, top-wise, I'm going to create my stiletto. And in fact, for a stiletto, I would pinch this a whole lot more. All the way to the tip. See how the C curve starts to come in because you're pinching it more. Then I would have my straight line down, so you can tell that I would probably end my stiletto right here and see how the form will naturally fit. It's going to give me my high apex. I'm going to be able to thin it down from the highest of the apex, angle it down to my length, and I'm still going to be able to get the stiletto look. That's why it's important to use a sculpt rather than tip. Because if I had a tip to do that, I'll show you guys again. If I had the tip on there to get my stiletto, see where my sides are going to come up from my free edge? Go to the point. There's not going to be any strength in that. So I hope that makes sense of just kind of showing it this way. Yeah, okay. Always learning. So after watching that live with Becky and Cam, I want to say about, I know. Hey, September, yes. Sue, you know, if you can afford it, just make it happen. Mark out in your appointment book, get it done, because it's always worth it. It's every time I've traveled to go to a show, it's always been worth it. Always, every time. And what I learned, the people I get to meet, sometimes you get free product and all of that. It's always worth it. And just so you know, so if you come in September and you want to kind of meet us, you're going to meet Kim, Becky, I, and Layla. Layla's coming over from the UK. And then Rose says, as a guest speaker. Rose, I think I missed something as a guest speaker. I can tell you, if you didn't hear me earlier talking about being a guest speaker, John Houck called me last week, and I am going to be one of the nail stars on his cruise in November. I get to be a guest speaker. I'm so excited. He's coming out with all the details on the website where everybody can join on and be able to come with us. I know that it's going to be on the Harmony by the Seas Royal Caribbean Cruise, and it leaves Fort Lauderdale. It stops at San Jose, San Martin. It was called something else, island, and then Labadee, which is a private island owned by Royal Caribbean. And then on there, 3 days of that is education, and it's going to be him and I, and we're working on a very, very big name guest to come on as well. So as soon as I know if she's signed up, then which will be in the next couple of days, then I know we're ready to advertise this even more. So I'm not sure if that's what you're meaning, Rose, but I get to be a guest speaker. I'm super excited. Okay. Oh, Shiny Max's new top coat. So, Rose, I haven't tried that yet. And if I scroll back up to talk about what you were meaning about that, I was asking about the new thickness about Shiny. Yeah, and I have not used that product yet, so I can't give you, any shout outs on that. Yeah, Mickey. So sculpting for certain shapes would be better than tips because of the strength that's being there. Oh my God, you're way better at teaching than my teacher. Oh, Carmel, it makes me so sad because I too went to a school where I had to learn the theory part of the class the same time the cosmetologist learned. So it took me 6 months to get through what now is like a 7-week program. And it was all based on manicures, pedicures. There was no gel polish. There was no nail art. I didn't learn hard gels. I did not. I learned manis and pedis, and that was it. And I passed boards barely, and all my education came after school. So I think I told you that the other day. Do what your teacher is telling you to do. Just pass. And then from there, we gotcha. We can help you get to the next level. And I know you've been in a few of my workshops, and it kind of is, it's hard because I'm teaching you one way, and obviously it's making sense, but you're learning to get your education in another, and it's so difficult. So difficult. It's okay, it's thicker. It's a bit too thick, huh? But it's good for encapsulating. I save my thicker ones for encapsulating as well. Sue, I like the C&D forms, and here's the reason why. I talk about this quite often. Okay, so let's see if I can open this up. Let's say I have this form on my nail. Very wonky style. Okay, so let's say this is on my nail. And depending what light, so let's say I'm going to cure this either using genre or hard gel, okay? Because that's going to be a gel base that needs to be cured in the light each time. The length of this, if the longer they are, that seems like the longer they are, then the finger doesn't fit in the light. So then I have to come through and cut this off, or I have to bend it up to make it fit in. The other thing is some of these forms are like this long. So when let's say the dome of the light is this deep, like the C&D Breeza lights are only like this deep, okay? The end of the form would hit the end of that light, okay? You're lucky if sometimes their nail is even under the light. And if they have them on all 5 and they're going in the light and the end of the light's touching here, sometimes the nail's not in the light at all. And so therefore this part isn't getting cured. So most of my clients do a shorter nail. I've had one person that used to wear their nails as long as these forms. And so I did have longer forms for her. Or I talked her into shorten all the rest of them if I had to repair one because they were just too long, And so on that case, you can also put a form. You can connect a form to a form. and you can make them seamless. And actually, I just talked about John Howe on his site. He shows you, there's a video that he has of how to attach a form to a form to a form, so you can do competition really long stilettos. And so therefore, even though you have a shorter form, you can use them that way. I like a manageable form, and I honestly, if there was forms that were half this length, I would probably buy them, because just like tips, okay, if I use tips, majority of my clients only use half of that. So if there was tips that could save me money and I didn't have to cut off all that and waste it, I think about the waste, then I probably would, use those too. Anyways, I like Cindy. They're very sticky. They're pretty, but there's some pink ones out there that I really, really like, but they're really long. But sometimes I'm attracted to the color as well. Okay. And you will be covering this in the gel class as well. I don't teach gel. I teach genre, and I do teach the forms in there. If you want a gel class, I would look at Becky, Kim, and Layla's, and they do teach you sculpting in their workshops as well. And then forms, yeah. Barbara Bush just passed. What? Oh no. And she was a great icon for us as well. Jeez. Wow, I think I finally get it. You're welcome, Melissa. And oh wow, that's awesome. I wish I could meet you all. Yeah, so come join us. I'm going to do a lot of traveling, so you never know. I'm really trying to make it over to the UK so badly, but once again, ties into those funds, huh? Yeah, Rhonda in 89. Yep, so I went to school in 91, and you're right, we didn't have the gels. The gel was out, but it wasn't available in schools like that yet. To be fair, Carmel, teachers can only teach what you're allowed to, and that's only the basics. Yep, and then you start getting into the advanced, like what we teach on here. I use the zine for I prefer the C&D forms. The rest is advanced and experience through extra education. Yep. Oh, the struggle is real, Carmel, isn't it? Oh, Lorraine, what gel polishes do I use? Oh my goodness. Well, I'll just name off of what's on my rack, right? D&D, Kira Sky, Nelkami, Shellac, ASP, Perfect Match, Elite 99, Gelish, OPI, Tammy Taylor Geligance, there's the Aura group that I have of our color changing stuff. There are so many companies that I use, and that's what I call nerdy nail knowledge. I am one that's been in the industry for a long time, and I like to try different ones, like even the Young Nails Conversion. I love gel polish. They're not the same at all. So when people say which one's your favorite, I can tell you what's my favorite, but let me tell you why it's my favorite. I'm not a fan of the rubbery ones. The reason why is they tend to shrink. Even though I know my prep is good and I know that other gel polishes can last my clients weeks, like mine, 4.5, 5 weeks. I know that it will last on there. But for some reason, the rubbery ones, I don't know if it's our, anti-humidity in the air or whatever, they always shrink on me and they don't have the lasting effect that others do. So even though I can tell you what's my favorite, it doesn't mean that it's going to work well in your area with your technique. I don't want a super thin gel polish. I like it a little bit thicker, but not the rubbery, or sometimes people describe them as difference of rubbery versus slimy, different ones. My favorite gel polish is D&D. One, I like the cost of it. It is so much less from wholesalers than some of the others. The consistency is very similar to Gelish, so it's not super thin, not super thick. I can use an entire bottle. My color stays true, but they don't have all the extra, hollow glitters and stuff like that. Like Kiara Sky, some of theirs are so beautiful, but I have to spend a little bit more. And it's made for the public. And so I want ones that are not public. It's a professional brand. When my client comes here, they don't see that it's on the shelf at Walmart. I want them to see a little bit different. I use a variety. I honestly go with what color I like too. But some of them are very thick and they don't apply well. Some of them heat up in the light. D&D's base, if you put it on too thick, you'll get a little bit of a heat spike in the light on some clients. So just know that they're not created equally. So you just have to go with what works for you and what you can get in your area. Because some people, there's some of them like CJP, I think it's just now available in the United States, but the shipping costs that I'm gonna have to pay, it's not worth it for me to keep that in the salon. But great products. So work with what you can get in your area. Nailchemy needs to bring you over. Sue. So Haley was just on here, and I know she'll watch this replay. So Haley, Sue says, Haley and Dave, Sue says that you need to bring me over and visit. I will give you the greatest education using Nailchemy products. You guys saw I had my Nailchemist cup earlier. I do love their products. Their products are superb. And I got the Aphrodite one, and it's a pink, very solid, lush. Their brush is lush, it goes on so smooth, prismatic, and it's the chunkier glitter. Oh my God, I'm in love with it. Like every client that comes in next week's pretty much gonna have that on their nail because I loved it. I do. Sheena, I want to go over there so badly. It will happen. I will make it happen. My God, there's so many. Yes, and some of them I've spent a lot of money on the gel polishes, and then you know what really makes me mad at gel polish is sometimes I'll order it and I don't realize that it's a mini, and I paid like $16 for a mini, and instantly I'm mad and not want that. How do you find Elite 99 the cheaper price? Might put you off. So you know a lot of people get. Okay, so here's my confession. I have never ordered from AliExpress, and I have never ordered off of eBay. I have used Amazon, and my Elite 99 I can say I've gotten from Amazon. What I really like about them is they have some great cat eye and color changing gel polishes. They're wonderful, and their prices are less. And then of course on Amazon I'm a Prime member, so I can get everything in 2 days, usually free shipping. And so I like their product. However, I have seen that you can get it on AliExpress for a lot less, and you can get it through eBay. I've just never ordered from them, and to know that it might take weeks to be able to get it to me. When I order something, I have it in mind of what I want to use it on, and I want it now. And so I don't tend to order from them. However, I can tell you I was on their site the other day for AliExpress, and I'm kind of thinking I need some stuff from there. Okay, how is shellac different from gel? I got my Pasadena swag bag. Ooh, how fun. And I'm afraid to try it. Don't be afraid to try it. But shellac is one that is rubbery. And I forget oh my gosh, I forget what do they call it? It's not viscosity of it. But gel polish is actually more gel with pigment, or the shellac is, and some of them are gel polish with pigment. Some are gel polish mixed with polish, and that's your differences in those. And so some of these people are like, oh my gosh, this isn't working, it comes out sheer, it's not consistent every time. Well, that might be one that's mixed with pigment, and it needs to be shaken. You need to put it in your shaker and get it shaken for a minute to get the pigment and the glitter throughout. And then sometimes it's mixed with polish and it stays true all the way through. But then as you're using it, you might realize when you get down to the bottom, it starts getting stickier and kind of goopier and stuff. So there's such a big difference with all these gel polishes, because it depends what type of gel they're using to mix it with, what the, oh God, what's the word? Not resin. It's going to come to me. It's the breakdown part in it. Oh, the word's not coming to me. Anyways, it's so that it can be soaked off. And so therefore how much, oh, the word was almost there. And then is it done with pigment? Is it done with glitters? Is it done where it's already mixed in and finally done? So sometimes what we pay for, the ones that are a little bit more quality, are the ones that we don't have to shake because the pigment's solid all the way through. So know that there's a difference in those. That's why some of those come in pods instead of gel polish brushes, and the reason why is so that you can put your orange wood stick and mix the pigment to it, and you'll notice it's a thicker consistency on those. So there's so many different types of them out there, but the best thing I can say is try it and see if it's for you. The key with all gel polishes, all the companies that I've worked with, and when I talk to them, I actually talk to their educators or the owners, you know, because I do the Tech Talk Lives, and the key to all of them is use them thin. It's better to use it thin, even if you have to do 3 layers to achieve it, than to do 1 thicker layer, because it's going to shrink or it's not going to set right in the light. And so every single one of them are saying use it thin, 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 thin. I want to order everything on the Nail Camise site. I will carry your Oh, Sue, that's awesome. Okay, so we're going to get Haley and Dave to try to fly me over there. I have a feeling that we're going to have to coax. I'm going to have to do a lot of work to be able to make that happen. Rhonda says, I use Luxio, and it's expensive. I've not heard that name, Rhonda. I'm going to have to look that up. And then Lorraine says, I got some Elite 99 from AliExpress, and I love it and always get the majority of my art stuff from them. I know, their costs look great. I just hear it takes forever to come. And you know what? Some of the supplies I've had for so many years. I still have foils from 1994, and I still use them. Like, some of these things I just don't need anymore, but I want them. Shellac needs to be shaken for 30 seconds. Yeah, so sometimes gel polishes say don't shake them, and sometimes they say do. You just have to get with the company, get on their website, look at their frequently asked questions, and then find out all the details from there. Yeah, there you go. It's the hybrid. Shellac does shrink, so glad I'm not taking it. Yeah, and so with the shellac, once again, you have to do it in thin, even layers and set it for the amount of time that's adequate for its setting. Julie says, I only buy from AliExpress and Wish. My nail art supplies, camping supplies, I've also ordered Polygel knockoff, which I've heard is very good, actually. I just talked with Isabella Gizmocat, and she said she got one off of those, I talked to her today, and she got one off of, I think it was AliExpress, and she said it was so good, and she's used a lot of different products, and so sometimes you just never know what's going to work for you. It doesn't always have to be expensive. Sometimes it's just the name that makes it expensive. Oh, I've never heard of Venalisa gel polish. I kind of like saying it, though. Shellac never shrinks for you, but you have to make sure the base coat is very thin. Yes, it will shrink away if it's pooling. Yes, yes, yes. Every single one of them you have to use so different. Oh, from Accents. I'm going to have to look into that. 4-day delivery. Yes, and I always want it now, you know. Amy, do you shake or roll D&D? I don't. I leave it on the shelf. I grab it and use it. I never have to shake it. I can say that because many times I've used the entire bottle, which is another thing that I like about D&D, is I've used the entire bottle when I get down to the very end. And you know, you're always tipping the bottle and stuff like that. Well, I want to use it all because it's still good. So I will thin it out with my, so this is the only gel polish thinner I know of. And it's Gelos. And it's a gel polish thinner. And it's made by Liz Schatt. And I'll put 4 or 5 drops into there, or about a dropper full, and then I let it set for a moment, and I'll mix them into another one. So I have gel polishes that have a M on the top, meaning mixed, and I've just made my own. So one of the colors is kind of this green color that I can never find this right, really soft muted army green kind of. It's really popular right now. I have not been able to find the color that I want, and it comes in, it's not the right shade, and so I've made my own. And so sometimes when a gel polish gets down to the end, I'll thin it out and then turn it into another color. And I always write on the top of that bottle so that I know that if it starts to go bad, that it was one that I mixed off of old gel polish. So, and then I toss it. But as when I use it in my services, I don't usually mix them up. I can say I have a couple whites from Tammy Taylor that I like, and it's a thicker, and so I definitely will put it in the shaker just to make sure it's shaken really nice, because sometimes when you apply it, you're going to see the highs and lows of that white. And so one, I won't be ordering that white anymore, because if it doesn't give me the consistency that I want, I won't reorder it again. But most of them I don't reshake. Shellac has to be applied. Yes, it's very thin. And once again, it might be one that might take you 3 or 4 coats to get the color that you need, but all of them are so different. It's a Candy Sitzer brand. I've still never even heard of that. Huh? Hi, Donna Lynn. How are you? You just had a big show as well, and great success with that. So happy for you. All right, perfect. All right, guys. Well, I've been live for a while, and I know that if I make these too long, then people don't tend to watch the whole thing. They skip around, and so I just want to make sure that I can keep them easy. That while you're putting on your makeup, cooking dinner or something, you can listen to it and kind of learn a few tips and tricks along the way. So thank you for joining me live, And I appreciate you guys so much. Remember to use your hashtag TTW365 and a description of what products you used or a description of how you achieved that look, and it enters you into where daily we pick, like today, I don't remember if it's day 108 or something, and Mickey Pocock was our winner for today, and we send you a certificate. It doesn't cost to enter, it's fun, it's free, and it gets you recognized to where you can help prove your worth with your clients. And so each time you get a certificate and you're like, I won this off of this person, doesn't that feel so good? Okay, hold on, I see more questions. Do you use D&D non-natural nail or only over enhancements? If over nail enhancements, how do you remove it? Okay, so Rhonda, I use D&D on the natural nail. I do 2 base coats, which I talked about earlier in this live. I choose 2 base coats. When they come back in, I can use my e-file, and I actually showed you what bits I use to remove that. And then I do the genre technique on pretty much every single client, so I always file down to the genre technique, once again using my e-file. You can soak it off because it is a soak off base. Gelish. So I don't roll anything. I used to. I have a shaker. I put everything in the shaker, and Gelish is one that if I have one that has a lot of glitter, like one of my favorites is called Vegas Nights from Gelish, and I can use this highly prismatic hollow glitter and turn any color a beautiful glitter, and that is one that I will put in my shaker and get it shaken up. Oh, and good night, guys. Oh, and you're so welcome. All right, so thank you, guys. If you have any more questions, you know that I might always come on pretty much every week and do a pop-up live, or you can private message me them as well. And then remember, for extra education, like what we talked on earlier, been using it on Instagram as well. Oh, that's wonderful. And so in the events section of our group is all the upcoming workshops, Tech Talk Lives that we do. And then if you watch it in the past part of the Tech Talk Lives and you missed something and there was somebody you wanted to see, the link is in the comments. So for instance, I went live with Tony Lee last week. You can go into the events, search for that past Tech Talk with Tony Lee, click on it, in the comments is that live. Then for tutorials like pop-up lives, some of the tutorials of how to do flowers or deep smile lines, all of that, if you go into the albums section of our group, then in the albums, you'll see that there's different topics and different inspiration in there. Click on that, and in the comments of that picture is the live of what we did for that. That's, or staying organized with that. And so anyways, hope that helps you guys navigate to get full use of what our group does. And then once again, just always want to see you posting and sharing and asking and answering and all of that. So hi, Joyce, and thank you, guys. Yeah, I love Vegas Nights. It's one of, if you guys need a great hollow glitter and you want me to promote something for you to get Vegas Nights from Gelish. Love it. It's beautiful. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.